Alright guys, welcome back. We're about to test drive Mr. Swift's 2011 C6 Z06. It came to us with the heads and cam package already. We just put a monster clutch in it. Comes with their slave with the, I think it has the billet piece for the slave cylinder. I believe we did an adjustable master cylinder on it. We also, obviously when we had the transmission apart to do the clutch, we pulled the torque tube apart and installed new bushings in the torque tube. The monster clutch does feel very nice. The pedal with the adjustable master, we have it releasing towards the top, which makes it nice to drive. It is more aggressive than stock, but the clutch pedal isn't, super stiff or nothing like that. Just, like any clutch or aftermarket clutch, you gotta get used to driving it. This one you just have to rev up a little bit more with the cam in it and the clutch in it when you take off from a light. I think it made like 530 or 540 when it came to us, and we got up to like 580 to the tires, which is great for a heads and cam setup with a stock intake manifold and so forth. The biggest thing with this car from Utah is he only has 91 octane, so you can't run as much timing as obviously as you can with 93, especially like this kind of driving where I'm in 4th gear, 2000 RPMs, and you just roll into it, which we call tip in. You can't have obviously as much timing in it. It's really prone to detonate with 91 octane in it or bad gas. When it first came to us, if I'd be in 4th gear, 5th gear, 2000 RPMs and just rolling past somebody, what I tell customers, it sounds like rocks are in the intake, and when you hear that, that's a bad sign. It's a sign of it detonating really bad. So we had to gut, or I gutted that part of the table for tip in, but you still want to have enough timing in it when you're cruising at low speeds to keep large cams from bucking really hard. Obviously you have the fueling right and so forth, but it is a very beautiful car. The paint still looks awesome on this thing for being a 9-year-old car. I do want to try, of course we're going to catch a light here, I want to try to do at least maybe 1 or 2 60 to 130s in these cars. I know, like I've said before, 550, again this one made I think 580, but I think I probably pulled 2 degrees out after that, so it's probably shipping, making 565, 575 to the tires. Doesn't sound like a whole lot of power, but these cars at that horsepower level are so much fun to drive. Again, the power to weight ratio, and again, if it hooks up, which these things usually do, I mean it'll spin a little bit, but you can hit this thing in 2nd gear, grab 3rd and run it through 4th. These cars are so much fun to drive. Obviously it's a 7-liter, so 427 cubic inch motor, makes plenty of torque from the hit. And again, a car like this, it should pull pretty good to 130. With most LS cars, they do have valve train noise. I'm not sure when Mr. Swift had the heads and cam originally done. Like I said, it has 34,000 miles on it now. This is the first time I've actually been out test driving it, and I just called my sales guy and told him that, man, I do hear more valve train than I'd like to hear on these cars. So it is something we can maybe pull a valve cover and just double check everything. Everything was good on the dyno, and again, I'm usually really paranoid. Most of the time it's fine and it is just normal valve train noise, but at a low RPM, you definitely hear the valve train in this car. But with a high lift cam and so forth, these LS engines are known for sounding like sewing machines, so it's nothing crazy. It's not like it's a crazy tapping sound or nothing like that. It's just, you hear valve train noise. I'll leave traction control on and see if we can roll into it in a second with this clutch in it and see how she does. of people always ask, you know, why we test drive them, and you know, what all are we looking for while we're test driving these cars. On the dyno we have, it's not a loaded dyno, it is a DynoJet 224X, so there is a difference of the dyno versus on the street being under a load. So when we go out and test drive them, fueling can be a little bit different, and even timing needs to be adjusted a little bit different, going from the dyno to the street. Obviously the drag coefficient comes into play depending on how fast you're going and, you know, what kind of vehicle it is. So I'm gonna pull over, look at that log real quick, probably make a few adjustments, and we will do probably one more and head back to the shop. All right, on that quick little pull I made, it did rattle just a little bit, so I'm gonna pull a little bit more timing out of it, nothing crazy. Again, 91 octane isn't like 93, so you can't get too aggressive with this thing. Again, the LS7 being a 7-liter, it's a higher compression motor than, you know, your regular LS1 or LS3, which makes it even worse when you put 91 in these cars. But make a quick change and we'll go play again. Just roll into it, nothing crazy, just to see how she looks. Once I get a little bit of room, we'll do another little baby pull. Again, I don't know the exact specs on this cam, but you know, you tune these things right. You know, I'm in 6th gear right now at 1100 RPMs, about 55 miles an hour. There's no cam surge or no bucking or nothing like that. Let's do a 2nd gear. Felt good, 3rd gear felt good, top of 3rd, I heard it rattle just a little bit, so we'll pull probably another degree or so out. I'll confirm that from looking at the scan, but I heard it, yeah, just barely. It tried pulling a degree and a half out, right around 5,700, so I'll pull over, make another change, and we'll do it again until we get it perfect. Clutch feels great. Clutch feels really good. And these cars, you know, again, it's not my car, so I'm not doing no crazy no lift shift. I'm pushing the clutch in every time I shift it. But these cars, for you guys at home that either have them or do want to own one, and you can no lift shift these things, and man, they run really well. You don't have to worry about the front end dipping every time you grab a gear if you're ever racing somebody. Yeah, depending on the camshaft, intake manifold setup and airbox, you know, will determine on how high you really want to rev these and when you want to shift them. Again, I normally set the rev limit around 7,000, but yeah, the dyno graph will tell us, you know, everything, and we can relay that to the customer and let them know, you know, approximately when you should be shifting this car. You don't want to shift them too early, because then you have a really bad shift extension, meaning if you shift it at 6,000 RPMs, when you're in the next gear, I'm just giving rough numbers here, you could be, you know, down to 4,000 RPMs, where if you shift at 6,500, then you'll be at 4,500 when you're in the next gear. And obviously, the engine's going to make more horsepower car still runs very well. I mean, I know it's hard to tell how fast it is just from an in-car view, but this thing runs pretty good for what she makes. I think you'll be happy with it. With that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe for future videos. And if you like this video, give it a like. If you don't, give it a big thumbs down, and please tell us why. Until next time, guys. See ya.